Hello, hello, love, and welcome back to another episode of Loving Life with Court. Today, we are talking about one of my favorite topics at the moment, which is some people just suck. If you are someone who takes things personally, is always been labeled as extremely sensitive, possibly you have difficulties in relationships because you just constantly take things to heart. You're very emotional. You're very in tune with your emotions, but maybe a little bit too much. And like I said, you just take things really personally. I'm so glad you are here because I have been in your shoes many, many, many times. I still sometimes fall into those shoes. But for today, we are going to be sharing how I have stepped out of those shoes and just recognize that some people just really suck. So let's dive into it. I heard a quote a few days ago and it really sparked my keenness to do an episode about why some people just really suck and how we can move past that. And it goes like this: people who hurt us are the best teachers. Those people teach us to grow and find inner strength. Now, I know that I'm that bitch that just always has a glass half full type of attitude, but stay with me because even if you're not, I'm going to explain to you why what people do to you literally has nothing to do with you. And I'm going to start that with 3 different stories. And this is kind of some things that really stuck out to me along my path of life. Some of them are very random, or one of them specifically is very random, but it just really shaped who I am today in the sense of what I've learned and how I have taken the people who are just really shitty and made them my best teachers and grew from those situations and found inner strength. And number 1 is elementary school, even middle school, possibly a little bit in high school. And this is the topic of bullies. I think we've all fallen victim to bullies in our life. And for me, I was a freaking on the map for bullies. I met all of the entire description on what a bully would pick on. That was me. I was extremely overweight, extremely extroverted. Some would say annoying. I say life of the party. And I had a lot of confidence as a child that was quickly dwindled down when people just wanted to make me feel small. I did exactly just that. I became small. I let my light go out, and yeah, it was just a journey, okay? But that's not today's story. Essentially, I was bullied a lot as a kid. I remember distinctively having one person that followed me from grade 1 to grade 5. She was just so terrible to me. She used to follow me in the bathroom and literally push me around, calling me fat and lazy. We even rode the same school bus to school and back home. So she literally just followed me everywhere. And I felt like her sole purpose in life was to make me feel small and just bring me down. I learned from a young age that some people just suck, and also that life can be hard. Life can just be hard on you. And the way that shows up is in bullies. From a young age, it happens. And it follows you up until freaking your grave, pretty much. There will always be people that want to bring you down. And there will always be people that want to make you feel small. But like I said, it's not the whole point of the story. Second story is post-secondary, and this is a very specific story that I don't know why it bothered me so much, but it just stuck with me for a long time. It still does. And this is how it goes. So when I started college, I started in a small town near my hometown, and I did my first year there. The summer of going into my second year, my then boyfriend, now husband, got a job 7 hours away from home. And I did what any young girl in love would do and moved away with him. And I transferred schools halfway into my 2-year course. So my second year, I started at a new college, and I was in a class that was like a prerequisite second class. I should have taken the first class, but they accepted a different class from the other college. It was confusing. It was a whole thing. But because of that, I missed the first week of it. And when I got into it, like I said, it was like a second half of a course from the year prior. So it was Child Development 1 the year prior, and I was enrolled in Child Development 2. So I missed the first week because of just issues with enrollment. And when I went to the class, the group assignments for the projects that term were already assigned, and I didn't have anybody to go with. So I stayed for the whole class, and I ended up meeting a girl who after class offered to let me join her group. And I was so grateful. I was like, yeah, that's awesome. Thank you. Keep in mind that she knew everybody in this group from the year prior, okay? She added me to a Facebook group, and everybody, like, I need to preface, everybody knew that I was in that group, that I could see their messages, and the response to it, like, I was mortified at the fact that people could just be so cruel. And the response that the group members had to me joining their group was just so terrible. Like, one person commented, like, who do I think I am just joining a group when I didn't attend the year prior to? And someone else said that, like, I was not welcomed in the group and that I'll be deleted. Like, it was just such, like, it reminded me of like elementary school. And I was just so baffled because we were in a social service program where our sole purpose is to support others and make others feel good and bring enlightenment to other people's lives. So that was just like the first, like, what the fuck? Why is this how people are responding? And second, these women that were in the group were in their like late 30s, early 40s. So they had more than enough time to understand that like women need to fucking support women. And the fact that they were just so cruel mind boggled me. And that leaves me with the last story, which is most recent in my life, which was my last job before I pursued podcasting and content creating full time. And that was at a private college that trauma. Like, just thinking about it, it was so bad. The owners of the school were like multimillionaires, and I felt like they were married. The wife's sole purpose was to make everybody else feel like how she was feeling. And I didn't realize that until I left the job. At the time, I just thought she wanted to make everybody feel small, everybody feel inadequate. She didn't want anybody to think that they were better than her. Later on, realizing that she was just reflecting her own insecurities. And to give an example, I had just started at the job. I was just like a month or two into the position. The person that I was supposed to be working with, like we were supposed to be co-running this part of the company, never showed up. Like, I guess she hired both of us at the same time. So I was running one department that was supposed to be ran by two people. I had 700 students, just myself, that I had to take care of, like meet with, support, create educational plans. Like, it was just insane. I'm very adaptable in that sense, but the backlash of what I got when I felt like I was doing a good job was just so soul crushing for me. And she came into my office, the owner of the company, came into my office and said to me that I'm really pretty and I'm really nice, but I'll never make it in a position like that. And I'm just not smart enough to keep up. So yeah, those are my 3 stories of where I really felt like I learned that some people just suck. What I obviously failed to recognize during this process, and what I hope I can offer you, is simply put, all pain that is mental pain is caused by you. Someone is simply doing what they are going to do, what is part of their nature, and what happens is that you get hurt, not realizing that this is just a part of who they are and it literally has nothing to do with you. That's harder said than done to recognize that, though, right? And knowing that obviously no perfect human exists. But what is so eye-opening when you experience situations of just realizing that some people suck, and it can be as simple as someone giving you road rage and you have no idea what's going on, or you made a simple accident and they go from 0 to 100. Now, what we can take from this is, first, they're not hurting you. They're simply doing what they know best, like I said. But second of all, every time someone throws an arrow at you, it is simply because they have taken it out from themselves and tossed it over. One cannot show another person pain unless they have felt that pain themselves. I want you to think about how maybe you throw pain to somebody. It's most likely a reflection of the pain that you have endured yourself. So what I have taken when some people are just really shitty to me is that my easiest response is compassion. When I endured bullies in elementary school and middle school and high school, thinking about what did they go through to make them the way they are and who showed them how to do that, because we were kids. So I can only imagine what they were going through to feel that pain and hurt. And when I think back to that one bully that literally made my life a living nightmare most of the time, I would see where she would get dropped off. And I would see her parents drinking outside and her mom having multiple men at the house. I would see this. I would see that her clothes were not washed. I would see that she never had a lunch. But I was obviously too young to really recognize that everything that she was putting me through was a reflection of her own pain. In college, when I went through that experience of people shutting me out and making me feel small and feeling the need to defend themselves and express themselves, I think that they likely have always felt intimidated by others and felt the need to express themselves because possibly they weren't given that opportunity as a kid. Oftentimes, people that lack things as a child will either continue that path or they will overdo it. So if somebody constantly feels the need to express themselves, will look at their childhood and maybe think, I wonder if they were ever given the opportunity to express themselves as a child. Compassion. And with my last job, I see that no matter how much money that woman had, her insecurities ran so deep within her that she had no light at the end of her tunnel and was simply reflecting her inner insecurities onto others. So really the moral of the story is, yeah, some people just suck. But don't be the person that sucks too. Instead, show compassion. Because what can happen is that you take these people that you think are just really shitty, but possibly they have never been shown compassion before. And they're not shitty people. They've just gone through some really shitty things. So that's today's episode. I hope you enjoyed it. I love you all so much, and a friendly reminder to not only be kind to others, but also to your beautiful, amazing self. We'll see you on the next episode.